We want to know what's yours. This is Everybody's Got Opinions with Keith D. Williams, former Wayne County Commissioner and political consultant Skip Mungo. We're going to take what you say and put the whole world on blast. Don't go away.
Welcome to Everybody Has Opinion. You know, a lot of folks, we got a lot of pontification out in the hood. Everybody's got opinion about everything. And so we just bring it to you every Saturday, me and Skip Mungo. That's my consultant friend and my best friend.
That's
and
right.
I'm Keith Williams, former Wayne County Commissioner. We try to stir it up a little bit so the listening audience will get a greater understanding from where we're coming from. Skip, you know, also, if you want to voice your opinion, call in at 313-395-336. If you want to voice your opinion, 313-395-3336. The topic for the day is this: will Detroit ever be the same?
You mean since?
Okay.
I mean, what are we comparing it to?
Yeah, that's what I had this on the earlier show. Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to talk about politically and economically from the 1960s, how Detroit was formed into the present day. Okay, in the 60s we talked about this. 50s we had, from the 30s to the 50s we had Republican governors.
Right.
But the Republican mayors. Okay, from 1960 when Jerome Kavanaugh came in, became a Democrat.
Right.
We've been having Democrats ever since.
Yeah.
Okay. So
because of the shift in the population too.
Shift in the population, but even in the early 60s, Detroit was still majority white.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
It was still majority right.
You're right.
White, and then things happened.
You're right.
The 67 riots just turned everything to a different mindset for those folks who don't look like us, and we was forced to stay here because we had nowhere else to go.
Yeah. See, the 67 riots actually helped those who wanted to leave.
It just pushed them out.
Yes. It gave them excuse to leave as opposed to, I don't want to live next to y'all, to, oh, it's too dangerous. We see now that a lot of those folks who left, their children who have never been in Detroit, meaning in some of the neighborhoods that they're moving in. So I'm saying all of that to say they're not afraid. So them 67 riots, it didn't strike a lot of fear in their hearts because the riots didn't go into the neighborhoods. The riots were mainly kept in the business district. But they started moving out. Nevertheless, the shift in politics changed. Like you said, we went from Republican. Who was the last Republican mayor? Mariani? Yeah, then Kavanaugh came on his side.
Kavanaugh came. Then, well, you know, let's look at it. Let's take it in two sections. Mm-hmm. One, economically, because majority of blacks came here because of the automotive industry. Mm-hmm. Well, when they opened up the freeway system through the skullduggery, they'd open up suburbs.
Right.
Then that opened it up, the robber barons to find some new territory.
That's right.
Okay, and so when the freeway system up, Southfield was the first.
Yeah.
First city.
Yeah, Southfield, right.
Southfield, but you also had Rollo Township.
Well, you had Oak Park.
You had Oak Park.
But you could get right to Oak Park just by crossing 8 miles. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but the freeway system
took them further north.
Yeah. Okay? So that gave the excuse of the robber barons and the automotive guys to move out of Detroit into a new system.
Right.
Okay? And so those jobs were gone. The jobs were going north, and black folks were still here trying to make it work for us. Okay? And so we never did the conversion of our automotive into another way of making money. Okay, like some states went to technology, we stayed on alignment with automotive thinking.
Still hooked on.
It's still hooked up.
We hooked on the automobile industry like a heroin addict.
Yes.
And when we don't have it, we get sick. Yeah. You see what just happened? Although the vast No, I'm not going to say, I don't want to put a number on it, but a lot of folks who live in the city of Detroit don't have a connection to the automobile industry personally, meaning they don't work there, their parents don't work there, their children don't work there, but we still took an interest in the strike because the automobile industry is us. Yeah. We never waned off of it.
Yes, and basically what happened is we were dependent on the automotive industry. Then other emerging markets or other folks came to Detroit, started buying up the neighborhood economics.
Yeah.
The retail stores, the gas stations, the restaurants, and all those things started turning. We did have some greasy spoons in the community.
Right.
We had Dotnettas was black owned. We had Young Barbecue. Yeah. We had Texas style barbecue. We had all of that stuff. And then black folks started moving out of Detroit, and it left Detroit to fend for himself, okay? Even the folks that work in the plant saved their money up and bought first and foremost, when 67, we could live in University District, Sherwood Forest, and those places over there, Bagley community and things like that. So when folks started moving from the east side, they started coming on the west side. Then they went to Sherwood Forest. And then after the white folks left, black folks came. Then after the white folks left, then the sophisticated Negro left. Okay.
Listen, you just a couple of years older than me, so you remember this trend,
yeah,
right?
I remember the trend.
See, all I can remember is just black Detroit.
Yes.
I don't remember anything else. I just remember black Detroit.
I'm telling you, on my street, we moved from Black Bottom to Homer Street in 1958 or 59. The street was predominantly white. As soon as we came in, they started leaving.
For sale signs.
The sale signs started coming up. They were coming. The sale signs was going everywhere, man. Because in that area, by University, Detroit, and Illinois, it was white.
Oh yeah, that's a nice area.
It was a nice area back in the day.
Yeah.
But then 67. That white devil came in, the heroin. They started bringing heroin in. They called it mixed jive back in the day. That's why you them guys, them puffy hands and all that stuff. And it started destroying our economy.
Yes, it did.
I played at Henry Ford up until 1972. 1972, the school was still predominantly white.
Yeah, it started destroying the spirit of the community.
Yes.
Too. Yeah.
Yes, they started leaving.
Yeah.
My football team, I played against Redford County. They were white schools.
Yeah.
Denby was white schools. Osborne.
Did you play with any white people, guys on your football team?
Yes.
At the Ford?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went from when I left Fitzgerald in 1963, I got bused to McKinney, which was an all-white neighborhood. Okay, I'll never forget this. Going down the street, they say, "Here come the niggas." Okay?
Wow.
Detroit was segregated, man.
Very. People think this stuff just happened in the South.
No, it was here.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go to Alabama. You didn't have to go to Mississippi. We had Mississippi, Alabama, and in Detroit.
Listen, Malcolm X gave a speech back in the 60s. He was here in Detroit, and he talked about, he said he used to live here. He said, I lived out in Inkster. He said we used to have to ride through Dearborn to get to Inkster. He said it was like riding through Mississippi.
Yes.
And he asked the audience, he says, is it still that way? Everybody hollered, yeah. It was that way when I was a kid coming up. I remember being pulled over by the police in Dearborn, and they flat out asking me, where are you going? What are you doing over here? Now, you had a major mall in Dearborn, but
look at the garbage cans back in the day. Keep Dearborn clean.
Clean. Oh, yeah.
That was a subliminal message.
That was Hubbard, man.
Yeah, Mary Hubbard.
Yeah.
I served with his granddaughter on the Wayne County Commission, Susan Hubbard.
Susan Hubbard.
Yeah, but it said, keep Dearborn clean. They would keep Negroes out.
That's it.
That's
Mayor
what
Hubbard.
it was.
Mayor Hubbard.
So just imagine you're a young kid in the 3rd grade going to an all-white school. Man, it was a difference. It was a difference maker for me. Yeah. Okay, so in the 6th grade, each kid had in my classroom, with matriculating to going into middle school, had to take a kid home for lunch.
Really?
I went to Joe Rosenberg's house.
Where did he live?
He lived about 3 blocks, 3 streets from the school. And I went over there. That's the first time I got a taste of monster crackers and all that other stuff. But then me and Joel we matriculated to Metatar. Then there's another thing happened. The kids from Russell Woods, Sherwood Forest, and those kids all migrated to Metatar.
Really?
I had a friend named Nancy Fleck, her father was a doctor. We all went to school together.
Right.
This was middle class Negro.
Oh, I know. I have a friend, older guy. He's a little older than you, named George Murphy. George Murphy, a hell of a guy, man.
Right.
But George talked about how when he was young, same concept you talking about. I never experienced that. They cut it out by the time I came.
Yeah.
Up. But he said he went to a friend of his house, lived on Otter Drive, right there on that curve.
Yes, right.
That big white house.
Yes.
He said it's the first time he ever sees somebody with a maid in his life. Yeah, one of his schoolmates. I think he went to Bagley, I think.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, I say there was an experiment with that went right.
Yeah.
Okay, because my friends, man, my dad was a factory worker. My mama cleaned house on Curtis by Mumford. The Jewish folks live over in that area. My mother and them, Miss Nathy, I remember the name, Miss Nathy, and my mother went over there because they became the best of friends, but my mother and them cleaned their houses, okay?
Yeah.
So I experienced that, okay? But the bottom line is this. 67 riots, 70 mass exodus of my brothers and sisters, and then the city, and up to 70.
Hold on, don't leave this out. When the people left the city of Detroit, I can't think of the number off the top of my head, but it was close to 200,000 or maybe over 200,000 manufacturing jobs left the city of Detroit.
Yes.
Between 1946, I think, and it was whatever the greatest economic prosperous time in the United States of America. Detroit started losing jobs, the freeways and the people. Now I ride the city a lot.
Right.
Sometimes I'll spot little small buildings, like at the end of a residential block, and people tell me, "Oh yeah, there used to be a machine shop." I mean, they littered all over the city, but those represent lost jobs, man. No city on this earth could have survived what Detroit had bestowed upon them. It was a curse.
We had, back in the day, we had the Barthwells. The Barthwells was the original Rite Aid.
Sure.
That's right. They had the soda fountains and all that stuff, okay? But the kids, from what I'm told, the kids went off to college and stuff like that.
And
became lawyers and stuff. And they said, forget the father's business, who was a pharmacist. He was a pharmacist,
sure.
Mr. Barthwell. I'm told that that's a part of my family.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to research it.
Sure.
But that's what I'm told. But at the end of the day, we owned gas stations. We owned everything back in the day, man. Then all of a sudden, we got caught up. Our kids started going to college for being doctors, educators and things like that. But nobody went down the road of owning a business and ownership, okay? And that's what happened. I remember in my neighborhood, we had Mr. Clayton. Mr. Clayton did the numbers. He did everything out that store, but he was a black man.
Right.
And his wife.
Right.
I seen that. I seen black ownership
when
it came down the store.
My father owned a store on the corner of Linwood and Puritan.
I know that place. I know that corner store.
When I was coming up. But my father was a number man too.
Yes.
But my dad came to Detroit with nothing when he was 17 years old. He owned the cleaners. I mean, successful business as well. And he was a contractor. He owned a demolition company.
Yeah, folks, call in 313-395-3336. Give us your perspective on what you think if Detroit's gone forever. Okay? Because this is an important conversation here today. Because after Coleman left, really, we got Dennis Archer, a different kind of black man. He wasn't born here, but he was from Cassopolis. I think he was born and moved to Cassopolis, but he came in with a different way of thinking. He said we got to get along with the suburbs, okay? and L. Brooks Patterson and those guys. And then after he left, we got Kwame. Kwame's supposed to usher in a new excitement, new energy when it comes down to youth and greater understanding of politics. And guess what? You know what happened to Kwame. I ain't going to go delve off into that.
Right.
We got Ken Cocker for a moment, and he was over his head. And then I'm not going to say he was over his head. He wasn't meant to be the mayor. Then you got what you got. We got a Hall of Fame basketball player, and everyone to hell in the basket.
Yes, it did.
Okay, between Dennis and Dave being two of the most detrimental things happening to black folks. Under Dennis' watch, we lost the Detroit Public Schools. Under Dave's watch, the city went bankrupt, and emergency managers came in. So 2 outsiders came in and made it possible for the evolution of Mike Duggan to come in and be our mayor.
It was a perfect recipe for Mike Duggan to come right in. Yeah. Again, I know we talk about this. First of all, let me say the conversations we have at these tables, they start out in the community.
Yeah.
Like you'll call me and say, man, I was over at such and such having a conversation with these brothers. So this is what we bring to the table. But back to just to piggyback on what you were talking about with Dennis. I mean, you called it out perfectly, right? While Dennis, I remember Dennis Archer, Mayor Archer he even talked about getting on his knees, extending olive branches.
Yes.
But all that time, L. Brooks Patterson is kicking him in his face. And they continue to elect L. Brooks Patterson because, when I say they, people in Oakland County, because they felt as though he had their best interests at heart. That's how we felt about Coleman. I don't know. I thought I had my finger on the pulse of the registered voters in the city of Detroit, but I don't get it.
But you think about this, Skip. Dennis Archer and Dave Bain, we lost close to $4 billion in transferring of wealth. The school system at the time was 1.2. It was $100 million in the black. Test scores was up, and the neighborhoods were stable.
And the citizens of the city of Detroit had just went to the polls and voted. We taxed ourselves to the tune of $1.2 billion for improvement. Remember who came in and depleted that bond money?
Mike Duggan.
That's right.
Okay, but think about this. The test scores were up. The neighborhood was stable, and we was $100 million in the black under Dave Snead's watch. Okay, let's look at that's the school system, but look at the home ownership. Look at all the other things that prosper from that school system.
Yeah.
Okay, and when they came in, remember they created this emergency to fix the school.
Yeah.
Under Mike Duggan, he ran the whole program.
I remember.
Okay, about $90 million was to fix the schools, painting and all that other stuff. So money was being distributed under those folks' watch.
Yeah.
When they took over the schools, and then what else happened? John Rakolta and his bunch was behind it to take over because they couldn't control the bond money.
Still same cast of characters. That was 30 years ago.
Yes, but think about it. Then the bankruptcy, look what they did. They stole people's pensions. They destroyed the incomes. They sold off goods and services. They took the water department from us. They transferred. And if we think about it, it was outright theft.
It was.
It was outright theft what they did to black people. And guess what? Think about this. Skip down there. I don't want to hog the show.
No. Hey, listen. I'm enjoying this.
Now,
Go ahead.
Think about this, Skip.
You got institutional knowledge, man.
Think about this, man. Go into the neighborhood where a school is at and see what the neighborhood look like.
Yeah.
It destroyed the school. It destroyed the neighborhood. The schools, you cannot function in a city without a top-notch school system.
No, I agree with you.
And then their arms, the robber baron arms standing to the east in the Hollow Park. Guess what? The two things they got in common.
What is that? Black.
No bank and no school system.
Right. And both of them are predominantly black cities.
The black city.
Yeah.
So they still taking wealth from us, and we continue to keep feeding the robber barons. Now they're in Detroit. They coming back. They buying up everything, Skip. They creating